Most of the population right now is asleep at the wheel during a crucial time. We're going to be talking about it. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Just recently, an article came out and it is titled, Central Banks Expect Gold Demand to Keep Rising. And although this doesn't seem like much, we have been focused on gold reserves held by central bankers around the world. This has been going absolutely parabolic for well over the last couple years. And it really did start to, I would say, ramp up after 2020. And we've been discussing the role that gold will play in the fundamental change happening around our financial system to move from the legacy tech to this new technology dominated by DLT, blockchain, AI, you name it. And gold plays a crucial role. We've addressed how big gold is becoming now. And I don't think that anyone really needs to hear this, because if you go and look at central bankers' reserves of gold, it's been going parabolic for a reason. Now, also over here from Gold Telegraph, we have central banks worldwide expect global gold reserves to increase over the next year. Nearly 30% of central banks plan to add to their own reserves within the next year. The world is waking up. And I've talked about it recently with Tether, right? Recently, Tether announced introducing Alloy by Tether, the first tethered asset, AUSDT, is over-collateralized on-chain by Tether Gold, and this is essentially a gold-backed stablecoin. It's kind of funny, right? The thing to really focus on here is gold-backed. We are now transitioning, and it seems like we're going back to the gold standard, right? Everyone is saying like, oh, it's the gold standard again. What we're actually starting to see is gold at the top of the food chain. And this is how like a global system will work. You have gold at the top of the food chain, and this could be fractionalized into, small pieces. It will be revalued as well. I strongly believe that gold will be revalued. There's no reason why all these central bankers are moving in on gold at a time where, gold just will steadily rise. No, we are going to see gold revalued. Why do I believe so? Because right now, as we look at the legacy financial system, it is failing at a rapid pace. We know that something new is going to come along and change everything. And that is going to be digital technologies. Everything is moving towards digital. You almost have to be blind and deaf to not understand that we are moving away from the old paper-based system to a new digital dominated system. Every central banker, every organization is talking about CBDCs. They're talking about stablecoins. They're talking about DLT, how we need to have faster payment technology ushered in. Do you honestly think that fiat currency, paper-based currency, is going to be around for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years plus? Absolutely not. Now, am I, a big, supporter of that? Absolutely not either. I love paper-based currency. I think paper-based currency is great. But the issue here is things are changing. Evolution will happen. But as we look at gold, it's at the top of the food chain, revalued, fractionalized. You have the SDRs, right? Now they will be defined equal to a specified weight in gold. I've talked about this in the past. Then you have each currency around the world that will be a CBDC. We're talking about the US, Europe, Japan, China, the UK, Russia, you name it. All have their own CBDCs. Again, this will be backed by those SDRs, which are backed by gold. Then where does XRP, where does DLTs, where do all of these big players come into play? Well, bridge currencies, settlement mechanisms. You have specific API plug and play technology. For an example, I could just say like XDC, right? Around trade finance, digitalization. These are the crucial pieces of the puzzle. Now, also, why do I say that gold will be ushered in around this new financial system and backing it? Well, here we have over here 3 weeks ago, a great post came up on LinkedIn, and this is unraveling the Basel III or, Basel III, however you guys want to pronounce it. I pronounce it Basel, but Basel III framework and the implications of a higher net stable funding ratio on gold price. A very important reason for gold buy and spree by central banks was the re-rating of gold as a tier 1 asset by the Bank of International Settlements in 2019 as a response to the 2008 global financial crisis. The new Basel III framework, adopted by BIS, was designed to improve liquidity of banks in case of financial shocks. Before 2019, gold was considered a Tier 3 asset on the bank balance sheet, requiring reserves. Starting April 1st of 2019, banking institutions were no longer required to create reserves against their holdings in gold, and this led to big inflows into gold markets. Since 2019, gold is now considered a Tier 1 asset, which means it can be counted as part of the bank's core capital reserves. Under Basel Accord, a bank has to maintain a certain level of cash or liquid assets as a ratio of its risk-weighted assets, not to be confused with, real-world assets, because it's RWA, as capital adequacy ratio. The alt season time bomb is ticking, and now is the best time to go and get your free access to 30 secret crypto gems that I personally have researched completely for you so that you can save a ton of time and make a ton of money. The link down in the description below takes you guys to this page where you can claim your free access instantly right now, free of charge. It's completely free. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Go and click the link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below, to get access now. Under Basel III, the bank's Tier 1 and Tier 2 assets must be at least 10.5% of its risk-weighted assets, up from 8% under Basel II. Tier 1 capital is the bank's core capital, where Tier 2 is the bank's supplementary capital. Regulators use these two to determine and rank a bank's capital adequacy. Tier 1 capital is intended to measure a bank's financial health. The bank uses Tier 1 capital to absorb losses without ceasing business operations. It consists primarily of shareholders' equity and retained earnings, and is assessed at a 100% of current value. When determining how much money a bank can loan, a bank's capital or reserve requirement is taken into account. And in this assessment, the bank's gold holdings have traditionally been discounted at 50% of the current market value. Its movement under Basel III from a Tier 3 category to a Tier 1 means that the 50% valuation reductions were removed, so gold is now accounted for its full current price. This has prompted banks to rush out and buy gold, and that's causing its price to rise dramatically. Gold is moved from its 50% weighted category to a 100%, and that raises the amount of stable funding needed to support gold holdings and automatically increases the cost of holding gold. Any change that will increase the stable funding ratio will increase the cost of carrying that asset, whilst any proposal that lowers the net stable funding ratio will be bullish for the asset. With regards to silver, which has not been mentioned or covered in these regulations because it is not regarded as a primary monetary metal by banks, it is however regarded as a secondary monetary metal by individual investors, so any impact on gold that Basel III has made, either positive or negative, will automatically be reflective on the price of silver by association, as it is often termed poor man's gold, which, by the way, I do think that silver will actually outperform gold in the short term. My balance sheet and assessment is that any bank selling will be outweighed to some extent by private investor purchases, which is why I see neither a dramatic rise or fall in the price of the precious metal. Now, as we look at this, right? Why? That's the big thing. Why was gold now considered a Tier 1 asset? Now we are starting to see something change, where gold could essentially morph into the new backing of the financial system, which, like I said, you have gold at the top, the SDR, CBDCs, and that's essentially how this new world will work. And again, even right now, as we look around the world, just recently on the 18th of June, Iran's digital currency available to public in late June under pilot scheme. Guys, we're now starting to see central banks moving heavily on CBDCs. CBDCs will be backed by the SDR, backed by gold. That's how I look at this. Now, over here we also have, according to its prime minister, Malaysia has decided to apply for BRICS membership. The country is also revisiting the use of the gold dinar as a reserve currency. Our points slowly starting to connect. And by the way, here we have in 2019, the former prime minister of Malaysia proposed a common trading currency for East Asia that would be pegged to gold. The tracks are being built. What was once deemed unfathomable is now edging closer to becoming reality. In 2019, and I just read this, right? The concept involved creating a shared currency for settling imports and exports. In late 2023, the current Prime Minister of Malaysia said that the government would revisit using gold dinars as a reserve currency. He went on to say, if at present we were to start using the gold dinar with 5% to 6% of Islamic countries, it would be positive. It would be a positive start because it provides strength and reduces dependence on the dollar. This is interesting for many reasons, but one in particular. Within the framework of Sharia law, gold is characterized as a ribawi item, implying that Muslims cannot trade it for the anticipated future value or speculative purposes. However, gold is unique in Islamic culture as it can be used as a currency and owned as jewelry. The leadership in Malaysia did signal that the country plans to gradually increase the use of its local currency and trade in the years ahead. In 2023, Russia's deputy prime minister said Russia could create an independent financial system with Islamic countries. Russia and Iran are already in the works of building a gold-backed stable to circumvent economic sanctions. Again, there you have gold-backed stablecoin. Again, it's a crucial thing to focus on. Yesterday, the Russian ambassador to the United States mentioned that the BRICS group of countries could eventually transition to a new payment system utilizing digital currencies or blockchain technology. The BRICS group continues to expand, with more countries expressing interest in joining the economic bloc. The trail is becoming increasingly clear, with more and more clues left by its leaders. It is becoming increasingly clear that gold will play a massive role in the Eastern world's future, as it has in the past. History rhymes. Gold is now at record highs in the majority of fiat currencies around the world. Now, outside of this, over here we have Vladimir Putin says Russia will develop alternative mechanisms of trade and mutual settlements that are not controlled by the West. A new system is emerging. And then also over here, we have Putin scattering truth, US dollar, a trust-based system backed by absolutely nothing.
United States decided to step away from the gold equivalent. There is no other promise, no other collateral rather than trust towards the US economy.
And even recently with the, rumors around the petrodollar basically being dead, think about what's really backing the dollar. Absolutely nothing. That's why as we really look at fiat currencies, we are about to move away from this, fairy tale that we're really kind of running on. And we're now going to be moving towards a system where gold is revalued, fractionalized through tokenization, and everything will be backed by it. And it's all going to be through a digital-based system. Even over here from the BIS, what are the views and plans of central banks regarding CBDC? For insights into work progress, motivations, and intentions to issue a CBDC, as well as use and regulation of crypto assets. Why are we starting to see CBDCs in crypto, even with regulation of crypto assets, being in the same exact, conversation piece here by the central bank of central banks? It's because these will all play a crucial role together. All of these will be tapped in together. Even stablecoins are being mentioned here. This is why I say focus on what they're telling you without actually telling you the full plan. And what percentage of the world is actually reading these documents? What percentage of the world is actually awake right now to actually know what's going on? A very small percentage. Over here we have from Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple, CEO at Ripple. Huge Ripple XRP news. Ripple CEO confirms his company is working with 10 governments around the world on CBDCs. A central bank digital currency is a stablecoin. It's just issued by the government. The game is changing for the XRP ledger, moving from speculation to utility in 2024. Check it out.
That is, Ripple has invested and is working with about 10 different governments around the world to do central bank digital currencies. I mean, a central bank digital currency is a stablecoin. It's just issued by the government.
Now, this is 100% accurate. As we really look at CBDCs and as we even look at stablecoins, the big difference here is that a CBDC is issued out by a central bank and a stablecoin is issued out by a company like Ripple or even Circle, for an example. This is why I say, I'm not too worried about utilizing stablecoins as long as they are issued out by companies like Circle or even Ripple, because it's very similar to even just fiat-based currencies that are digital. Again, I'm not too concerned around this. Most physical cash usage has been dropping significantly. So we know that the world is changing and we know that digital is the future. CBDCs probably won't even touch us. We'll probably be looking more at stablecoin usage. But outside of this, as we really look at what's going on here, crypto companies and crypto technology is 100% crucial for this new system. And I just want to end this video off with this vision of the future financial system. And this is from the BIS. This is regarding the Finternet. Big shout out to Subjective Views for this.
one thing is to secure what we have and make sure that people stay in the fiat money system and well served by the current services, but make sure that people stay in the fiat money system and the current services, but you can also be more ambitious, and you have talked a lot about what a vision of the future financial system could look like, and the BIS Innovation and the Bank of Canada and the other partner central banks within this network can make contributions. So you call it the Finternet, which is your vision for what the future financial system could look like. Could you talk a little bit about what that could be?
Well, let me make a brief digression to the past. And a lot of the developments in innovation and technology outside central banking and in central banking have been a little bit piecemeal. It has concentrated a little bit in payments, a little bit on fintech, subtech, in, how can we use information much better to do policy. But at the end of the day, we still need to develop a fully fledged vision of how the future of the financial system would look like. It's very ambitious. So in a way, how can the different parts fit together? Now, I think it's important for the central banks at least to start doing this type of exercise, because I fully subscribe to what Steve said, that we provide basic infrastructure, basic public goods that I'm sure that no matter what the shape of the financial system in the future will have, those things will have to be there. So we have to make sure that those parts are there and precisely provide the platform for the private sector and others to build on top of it. I think that figure is very important. So I think that we need to identify what are the key technological aspects and what are the key institutional aspects to make that flourish. And through our research, we have found out that tokenization has a lot of future. And tokenization could allow the development of many different, basically to recreate the financial transactions that we have today, but also to generate far more complex transactions that take advantage of issues like programmability and so on and so forth. I think we have today many incomplete financial markets because we don't have the technological way of integrating all that information in an efficient way. The financial system still is plagued with inefficiencies, and there is a lot to be gained from the inefficiencies in the system. Now, what is beautiful is that the technology is there. So I think there can be a win-win situation when we bring the vision of the central banks mostly concentrated in the key features that are essential to preserve the trust, the vision of the private sector, and the advantage of technology to come with a better financial system. Now, you can say, well, let's 1,000 flowers bloom and see what comes out of it. That can be very romantic, but I think we can be a little bit more efficient if we can sort of try to steer the system in a very specific direction. In the way that obviously the creativity of the private sector is there, of academicians is there, and so on and so forth, but the public good aspects are preserved, and therefore we have a strong platform for the system to flourish. So that's a little bit the vision of the Finternet.
So you guys haven't, again, he does argue the private sector. The private sector will be a part of this. Ripple, a private company, will be a part of this. I've talked about on multiple occasions. As we look at every single breakdown from them, almost all of their BIS papers on their website include CBDCs, stablecoins, crypto, X, Y, and Z, right? In between there, you have so many things. I mean, it's crazy to me at this point that when we look at these breakdowns, I mean, just look at this. Central bank capital and trust and money, lessons from history for the digital age. Generative artificial intelligence and cybersecurity and central banking, they are preparing us for what's about to happen. We are getting closer and closer to full-on digitalization, and it also is backing the idea that gold will play this substantial role. We are seeing a major change rising. Central banks are moving on gold. Gold is a focus because this will be the center point of this financial system. It will be fractionalized, it will be brought on chain and tokenized, completely backing SDRs, backing the CBDCs, and this will all be worked out on ledger technology. That's why when you look at the BIS project Enbridge, that is essentially the new financial system. And central banks around the world are already telling you the plan, with Iran launching their digital currency, and even Russia looking at their own, alternative systems and their own currency as well. We're starting to see this, instead of it being a focus of, oh, look at what Russia's doing, to try to kill the US dollar. It's what is Russia trying to do here that all these other nations are also doing, and while the US does pretty much nothing. The US also knows the plan. They're playing this perfectly. We're starting to see the entire realignment of the financial system hidden behind a cloak of, all right, it's a financial warfare. No, it's all promoting and accelerating a substantial change away from the old financial system to the new financial system. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.